will come and they will blow your mind. The audience will do so in kind. A little vanity mixed with some insanity on the morning show with GMP.
Good morning, Portugal, and I'd like to welcome you to another fantastic day.
Hey, Gumpers.
Hola, bon dia, alegria. Munson here, really low on the screen, strangely, with Good Morning Portugal show live stream and podcast. How are you today? Do let me know in the comments and the chat. Interesting morning this morning. A little bit at sixes and sevens, trying to bring the things together. And you will have seen what looks like a fairly inoffensive invitation to talk about the well-being of the Portuguese today. And it comes from a slightly sad message that I received from a correspondent, which was, let me just read that to you now. My friend, it is very sad to be helping foster rich immigration when all we know that this immigration has been contributing to the agony of the Portugal. Sorry, but just have to say it. Stop negotiating with the well-being of the Portuguese. I don't get a lot of controversial correspondence directly or personally, but when I do take it personally. So we'll have a chat about that today. I think we're actually quite responsible and awake and sensitive to the needs of our host country and its wonderful people. But I think it's a conversation that could continue and be very open. And we should continue to be responsive in this regard. So talking about that today with our special guests, Maria João Silva and Heather Binder. Heather Binder, of course, from Boots on the Ground Portugal, and she'll join us at 9. And MJ will be with us from 9:30 with that Portuguese perspective on that Portuguese correspondence. So how are you today? The four horsemen of the Good Morning Portugal. I'm not sure where I'm going with the end of this sentence, but the let's call them just for the time being. And the cuatro amigos who you see in the chat when you arrive first thing in the morning, warming the seats of the Good Morning Portugal lavatory. Here they are, Coach Turner, T-Duck, James and Deagle, often in early in the mornings. And I'm so glad they are. Just making sure everything is okay and ready for us as we amble in at around 8:31 or 8:32 as it was this morning. I did notice. And apologies if you were left hanging there. God Squad tip of the day then, because Coach Turner was in first. And we had a lot of fun yesterday, didn't we? A lot of giggling with the fartlek. It always goes down well, out well. And I saw serious, well, I thought he was serious architect. I thought the doc yesterday, and what an amazing show that was yesterday. We invited some Turkish friends over to Portugal, and hopefully we'll see them in due course. But wasn't that amazing to see Philomena on the screen over there in Turkey joining us? I switched on the studio, and there she was with a room full of Turkish, a room full of Turkish students of the English language, teachers who are learning English under the guidance of Philomena. An amazing start to the show yesterday, a little bit more leisurely this morning, and not perhaps quite as exciting. And then, of course, we talked with the doc, and I thought he was quite unprofessional when I started to talk about fartlek. So we'll try that again this morning and see if any of you can behave any better. It's been walking week, and I thought it was fartlek week. God Squad tip of the day then from Coach Turner. It's been walking week, and we're mixing it up and pushing off the forefoot. Wow, if he was a musician, that could be an album name, couldn't it? Pushing off the forefoot. Sounds a bit like a James Taylor double concept album from the 70s, doesn't it? Slightly wistful cover. Him, James Taylor, maybe on the screen looking out across the landscape and pushing off the forefoot in handwritten script on the gatefold sleeve. We were visiting our local market town yesterday, and parking is always a bit of an issue. I think I know what's coming. So we parked for free a bit further out and walked in. It gave us an extra 20 minutes of exercise, and we explored some lovely old streets. Where can you park and enjoy a bit of a stroll? There you go. Not so much of an issue in a lot of Portugal, but it does happen. I've done that myself over here. And yeah, I think that's a great tip. It also helps relieve the boredom I found of working life. I would try and find different ways into work and different underground or metro stations to park at to try and ease the boredom of working life. Not that I endured or struggled with much of that in my rather patchy career, but if I can call it that even. But yeah, great to spice things up, and of course to get the fitness that Coach Turner is keen to push, or not push, to offer in our direction. He never pushes. He's never pushy about this. That's what we love about him. He offers serving suggestions for your well-being and fitness, gentle fitness for the bon vivre. So thank you very much for your continued service here, Coach Turner. Wishing us a feliz quinta-feira. Well, we've reached Thursday, so there's that. Copy the emoji. How about emoji-based exercises? That'd be quite good, wouldn't it? And easy. You could just send a message of emojis for people to follow. I can do that one that you sent this morning. Thanks, Coach Turner. Looking forward to seeing you back in Portugal sometime soon. Bondi, I guess you won't be coming for a little while, because you had your wonderful and recent visit to Madeira. You can see that video that's well loved on our YouTube channel as well, of Coach Turner's visit to Madeira. Bom dia, Gumpers. Feliz quinta a todos. Tudo bem? From James. Thank you for your efforts last night, James. We have a WhatsApp group. All of life is there, always in WhatsApp groups, isn't it? Different personalities of people. And it always is a microcosm of the macrocosm of human organization when you host WhatsApp groups. And we have one for our Good Morning Portugal co-hosts and guests and associates, which turned out lovely last night. I stoked the flames of that last evening, and it was lovely to see people sharing their details of what they do and collaborating with each other. The early signs of even more collaboration in this community. Up early, getting ready to catch a train this morning in Lisboa. So I'll be signing off around 9 o'clock, or in Navy language, 0900 hours. Thank you very much. Enjoy your day out today, Senor Slug. Bon dia, Gumpers, from T-Duck as well this morning at 8 o'clock. Actually, a bon dia alegria, Gumpers, and a deep thought. Then let's do these so they don't get lost like they did yesterday. It all worked out in the end, didn't it? Apart from actually Andy Klein's new video, which I'll show you in just a moment after we've had a deep thought and a Portuguese saying of the day. I don't know why I'm just going down wrong turns and cul-de-sacs this morning in my mind. I'm still not 100%. I think there are still funny germs, and I don't know what they are, but they're still working their way through my system, like little illness flashbacks. Deep thought. Then, action is the foundational key to all success. Pablo Picasso. Let me read that again, so as not to lose any of its profundity. Action is the foundational key to all success. Pablo Ruiz Picasso was a Spanish painter, sculptor, printmaker, ceramicist, and theatre designer who spent most of his adult life in France. Interesting, that, isn't it? When people choose to spend, well, like us, but when someone spends almost their entire adult life away. That's interesting, isn't it, that should happen? I wonder what you would make of current day France. A Portuguese saying of the day, mais vale prevenir do que remediar. Prevention is better than cure. Another universal favorite there, this time in the Portuguese, mais vale prevenir do que remediar. Thank you very much for that. And another brilliantly historical Portuguese, Ugonono this morning, Bartholomew Dias was born into a royal household in the Algarve around 1450. He's famous for being the first European to sail the southernmost tip of Africa. Vasco da Gama tends to get the limelight, doesn't he? But here we go. We have Bartholomew Dias, who was born into the royal household in the Algarve around 1450, 15th century. He's famous for being the first European, not just the first Portuguese, but the first European to sail around the southernmost tip of Africa. Dias had originally called the tip Cape of Storms, but it was him who renamed it to the Cape of Good Hope in honor of the opportunities it would provide. How about that? Thanks, T-Duck, for that. However, and somewhat ironically, he ended up caught in a storm there in 1500, and that is where he perished. Not exactly the Cape of Good Hope for him then, and presumably that would have been in Portuguese, wouldn't it? The Cape of Good Hope. Cap De boa, what is hope? Boa espera in Portuguese there. Okay, dad jokes to come. They were very, very good yesterday when I shared them with the doc, with the architect and the medic. A radio presenter, an architect and a medic walk into a live stream. And that's what happened yesterday, folks. Deagle's here. Bon dia from a soggy Belfast. Another inch of rain last night. Thankfully, it's a warm 11 degrees today. And another day bringing you closer to Portugal, of course, Deagle. I love Deagle's countdowns to being back in Portugal. We're all with you on this, Deagle. One more night shift tonight, and that's me off for half a month, getting my suitcase out tomorrow to pack as heading to Portugal on Tuesday. Fabulous! Well done, Deagle. Looking forward to having you here in the country. Esperança na espera. Boa Esperança. Would that be Cap de Boa Esperança then, the Cape of Good Hope in Portuguese, I wonder. Thanks for your help with that. Lord Gilchrist, who's also here this morning, as is Matty, the ancient mariner. Talking of salty seamen this morning, here he is, the ancient mariner. How's it going? Are you still in France or have you sailed elsewhere, ancient mariner? And yeah, I've missed your messages, actually. You and I have been busy, both of us, I suspect, in the last couple of days. Baddy with bon dia, folks, this morning. How are you doing, Baddy? Great to see you here. And Andy Klein. Well, what better time to play your video of your CEF appointment than Andy? Let's bring that onto the screen, and I'll enjoy it whilst watching that with you and drinking the rest of my tea that's going cold in my cup here. Bye, Andy, also in. That other Andy from the Bairrada, bon dia, a bit of rambling. Oh, that's me then this morning, isn't it? Oh, no, a bit of actual rambling, a bit of gardening and a bit of DIY. DIY, there's a new activity. It comes with age, doesn't it? Oh, dear. DIY. I'm going to back out of that cul-de-sac really quickly. A bit of rambling. I'll do that again and pretend nothing happened. A bit of rambling, a bit of gardening, and a bit of DIY today. Why, oh, why, oh, why? That is why it's called DIY, isn't it? Because you start and sometimes think to yourself, why, oh, why? DIY today in the Bairrada, and a lovely selection of emojis, including a pig snout, which is the signature emoji, I suppose, isn't it, of the Bairrada area region. Antonio F. also with us this morning. How are you doing this morning, Antonio F.? Oh, he's leaving Honfleur today, is the ancient mariner. We'll come back to your video in just a moment, Andy Klein. Leaving Honfleur, one of my favorite French places, tomorrow, 05:30, talking in sailor talk again, a 05:30 hour time, 10 hours up the Seine to Rouen. Same to you, sir. Loves me a bit of DIY. Just a quick message from Andy there. I was going to suggest you could put yourself about a bit and help other gumpers who don't, but then it wouldn't be DIY, would it? It would be doing it to them. DIT. It doesn't have the same ring to it. Okay, where's that video? It's here somewhere. Oh, we got some distracted again by the the new Guess the Gumper images that have come in. Oh, and hey. Come back to those. We have a video to share with you. Nearly 6 minutes this morning. So sit back and relax and enjoy this one. I know I will be, and enjoying this rather nice cup of Rosie Lee here. Okay. Thank you, Andy, for this, by the way.
So this is the view off the first floor plaza, our building, which is located on the Avenida 5 de Outubro. That's the canal there. It is Tuesday, the 14th of March, and tomorrow we have our CEF meeting. I think I'm prepared. This is the market downtown, right across the canal from where I live. And I'm heading over there now to get some fruits and vegetables. Bairro is a very pleasant urban environment. It's a true 15-minute city. Everything is very close by, easy to walk. This is the corner of our building. On the other side, that's the Avenida Cinco de Octubre. And I'm about to go on a walk through the hood. About to go across a typical crosswalk here. They're kind of brilliant because the drivers actually stop for you. Fabulous. And here we are at the Forum, which is fancy pants shopping right here in Aveiro, or is it Aveiro? I've had native speakers pronounce it both ways, so I'm stumped. But anyway, the Forum is about 200 meters north of our building. Well, there's the homestead. That's the Avenida Cinco de Octubre above us. It's the Ides of March, and getting ready to go to Coimbra for my CEF meeting. Lola is with me. She's walking right now, getting some steps in before the train gets here. I think we're ready. I guess we are. Announcement. I think we're ready to go. We've got a lot of good advice, and I think we're ready. We've followed the list that CEF publishes of what you need. We've added a few creative bits of our own just in case. As we've heard, you maybe ask for more. So anyway, off to Coimbra, CEF appointment. This is the biggie. There's more paperwork after this, but this is the biggie. And I'll feel a great weight lifted once we walk out of there with our temporary permits. The CEF office in Coimbra is located on the second floor of a municipal building. They have a counter facing a hallway and sharing similar counter space with other services. It's a chaotic environment and difficult to hear them call names. We had 11 and 11:30 appointments. My name was called at 12:15. The clerk handled both of us at the same time. That seemed to be the norm. Our clerk did not speak English, which I think turned out to be an advantage. They were super busy, and given the language barrier, I don't think she was looking for reasons to question anything. She just got to work. We were way overprepared. The clerk handed back at least 3/4 of the stuff we brought. The whole process took about 30 minutes. Photos, fingerprints, and signatures were taken on a machine. Hilariously, both of our fingerprints failed, but the clerk just waved it off. And we left with our temporary permits.
Another beautifully made film there. Thank you so much, Andy, for sharing that with us and your entire journey. Would you, it's amazing. Number 26, would you have imagined that you'd have made 26 clips like that? Not clips, that's far undervaluing your creative contribution there and your creativity and your excellent filmmaking skills. Your wonderful films. 26 of them now, and you can check those out at our expat journey. And I will put the link to your YouTube channel so people can watch the rest there. And in fact, I think that's the best I can do at the moment. I'm hastily trying to do this behind the scenes. I'll give you the link to that particular video in the chat, everybody, and then you can go and subscribe to our expat journey there. So great news from that video, of course. All was well and good. Not the fingerprints, but it didn't seem to matter. And thank you for showcasing two of my most favorite cities in Portugal there, Aveiro and Coimbra. Fantastic. Ocean Dwellers in, Bon dia Alegria, and Andy coming back, responding to me this morning. It's given me something to do during the chat transition. Oh, would you recommend it? It's kind of good therapy then, isn't it? And a nice distraction, I suppose. Never thought of it like that. Yes, well said, Andy. And I think that says, I ove or love the smells of a market. Yes, me too. Isn't that great? Well said there, Andrew Gilchrist. The fish market has now, or even the fish market has now also moved into that indoor market. Bit of a shame, the old one closed. Oh, that's not, well, this I forgot to mention, didn't I, that this is Indie Portugal Thursday. And that is really something that I've not made as big a fuss of as I would have liked to. So Indie Portugal Thursday, where we celebrate independent businesses. And the reason I'm minded to mention it there is because, when markets retract or old ones get lost, that is some independent business, you would imagine, or I would anyway. I'm thinking I'm going to the dark side immediately there, that is a loss of an independent facility. And whilst supermarkets are hastily, we did a good bit of supermarket bashing, didn't we? Notwithstanding how convenient and cheap they used to be, happy times. We did a bit of supermarket bashing on Tuesday morning with the sustainability squad. There doesn't seem to be any let up in the progress of supermarkets and development of building a supermarket and opening a supermarkets here in Portugal. But we are losing businesses and indie shops. So please do support them, including the markets that we're talking about here this morning. It would appear bit of a shame the old one closed, says by Andy there. I will catch up on these in just a moment when I find where we left off. We had this lovely comment in from, I think that's Tony, isn't it? Our man in the Minho, Tony time. Why does everybody talk about the weather? Because they don't live in the Algarve. Good day, Carlito. Good morning to you. Portuguese weather dad joke there. Some really interestingly flavored dad jokes this morning. DIY, we had a DIY dad joke as well, which I've also lost for the time being. Matty, how's it going? By the way, you're chatty this morning. You're chatty Matty in the chat this morning. And the Cape of Good Hope, thank you for this. Finally, then, we can settle on Cabo Boa Esperança. Thank you very much, Lord Gilchrist, for that. And some Portuguese tuition going on. Cheers, Antonio F. Educating people in the chat there. DIY means for men, do it yourself. For women, did it yet? Question mark. Sexist. And you will have seen the Moliceiro boats that go past Andy and Lola's apartment. Isn't it a lovely place to live there? Love the water front in Aveiro and know that area really well. I've walked up and down there many times, having worked in Aveiro and Ilhavo. So thank you for that, Andy. And the Moliceiro boats there, now mostly used for touristic purposes and not so much the fishing, it would appear. Andy, also shameless self-promotion. So as well as giving him something to do during the transition from the United States to Portugal, bit of shameless self-promotion. And why not? Another shameless self-promoter and video maker. We've got Dougie Hughes, and we'll show you Dougie's latest offering at the end of the show as well. Fantastic. Thank you, Doug. It looks like you're having a fantastic time. And you are with us live this morning from Monte Gordo. Excellent. Okay. Everyone's a critic this morning. What's up with you, Matty and Andy this morning? Waldorf and Statler, with your, don't like this, don't like that. Nice video, but in my opinion, a bit long to squeeze into a live show. Shut up. It's 90 minutes long. Matty, forgive me for saying shut up. But come on, man. This is a 90-minute show. If you watch 90 minutes of television, you're going to get quite a lot of packages and segments. And who doesn't like a package in a segment first thing in the morning? Come on. I think you're spoilt, you lot. Smash that like button, says Thunder Duck. And by Andy, he's still harpooning on about the old fish market space. They are using the old fish market space for a new arty touristy area. You old moaners can moan about that as well now, can't you? Well, you can't eat art, can you? You can eat fish, but you can't eat art. I want. Oh, I love a segment. Okay. James says Ocean Dweller. Did we manage to say hi to you this morning? Ocean Dweller Aviva, good morning to you. Another blog coming. We had one wonderful first thoughts from Aviva arriving in Madeira. We have another blog to come soon. Carl, no, I'm not. Okay, Heather is with us and limbering up behind the scenes. She'll be with us in a minute or so. Just want to say thank you to all the people who are signing up for the GMP VIP concierge service. A staggeringly tiny €9 a month. It will rise to €19, and I have other features to add to this service, but this is going great guns. And a little giggle to myself last night. People are signing up, which is great. What they're signing up for is a personal concierge service. Carl, the concierge. You can have me running around, mainly mentally, at your beck and call at the end of a new WhatsApp number that is being distributed among those who've signed up. I draw the line at dressing up like this as part of my concierge service, but you never know. That might be a new feature. I don't want to give all the goods away too soon, but I might do that a little bit later on down the pipeline, so to speak. But what it suddenly occurred to me yesterday that what this show is, where you get it all for free anyway, 90 minutes every morning, and still people complain about things on the show. Calma, tranquilo, Carl. What you get with me is this might be my middle name, or this is what might be on my tombstone, Mr. Portugal. You like that? Hey, I do. I don't know. I went downstairs to Mrs. L. It's amazing. Oh, it's quite interesting how the blues merge on the screen there. Ran down the stairs. I said, "Do you want to buy me an early birthday present? Do you want to get me the?" Oh, no, I might be putting myself in some commercial danger now. Do you want to buy me the domain Portugal.com? And she says, why? Portugal. Isn't that too many syllables? And it's like, when you share an idea you think is amazing, and the person you share it with goes, well, that's what happened to me with the Mrs. I like it. I think it's really clever. And that's what you get for €9 a month, basically. Time limited offer at goodmorningportugal.com. That is, you get a lot of in-show perks. I won't shout at you like I do some of the people this morning if you're a GMP VIP, promise. So sign up for that at goodmorningportugal.com. Thanks to all those who are doing so. You have your own WhatsApp number, and I will respond to your queries, inquiries, and questions that come in on that WhatsApp number within one working day to ease your passage into Portugal. A couple more comments then before we go to talk to Heather, who joined us on the Silver Coast this morning from Boots on the Ground in Portugal. The molicera were used to pick the moliso, the seawater plants and seaweeds that would then be dried. Not exactly fishing, more sort of aqua farming, isn't it, really? When you're dredging up those what would they be? Those sea beings, that vegetation that would be then dried in the sun and later used as farming fertilizer. And you do see it happening here still. They gather the seaweed from the beach here and dry it in the sun in much the same way here in San Martino de Porto. So Dougie Hughes definitely in the building, and a lot of chat going on. Thank you, everybody. I love it when you put "at" in front of your comments, then I know it's not for me necessarily. And there were 4 cruise ships in our small harbour. Don't know how they do it. Are we talking about Madeira there, Aviva? But it is amazing, I imagine, seeing the big cruise ships as you look out of your window and that beautiful vista that you are able to claim and enjoy every morning over there in Madeira. Let's give her a nice round of applause and bring her onto the screen.
Hello.
Of Boots on the Ground Portugal. How are you?
Great. How are you doing? Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you loud and clear. Good to hear you. And I'm going to give us a nice blue background. How about that's better, isn't it?
Yeah, there you go. Okay, I was trying to tweak that.
Yeah. Oh, you were doing it at your end as well, were you? Okay, no, I've taken care of that. So good to see you, Heather, here for your second time. Well and truly establishing your residency here on the Good Morning Portugal show. I've got an even better backdrop. What's good about your morning? So I can ask you that this morning. What's good about your morning? What are you grateful for today?
I woke up on time. I'm
Yes.
gonna stick to that one.
Yes.
I'm more of a night owl, so mornings are kind of quick and dirty for me. I'm one of those people that wakes
Okay.
up right away. I just
Yes.
wake up, I'm in bed and I'm like, okay, it's time to be up. I
Yeah.
don't do the like, I need coffee, like, that
Oh,
whole.
you don't. You can leap out of bed, can you? And you're ready to
I
roll.
leap out of bed. Yeah.
Lucky thing. I would like. I think of myself like that, but actually, I'm not. Which is not brilliant for a man in my position, as it were. Great to see you here on the Silver Coast. It is feeling spring-like here for us, isn't it, on the Silver Coast now?
Finally, yes.
Finally.
It's really yeah, quite beautiful out at this point, and I'm really really thankful for that. All winter, almost all winter, I was like, you know, just still trying to go from gratitude and happy to be here, and this is so much better than 117 degrees. I'm from Arizona.
Yeah.
Or upstate New York, Chicago, all those places that I have lived. So yeah, but I gotta say the last month of the cold weather and rain and stuff, it was hard to keep that
I
positive
agree. I
attitude.
agree. And the problem is, of course, when you complain about that and you live in Portugal, no one cares or believes.
That's definitely true. It's like,
Yeah.
really? Shut up.
Yeah. Shut up. Absolutely. So we had to keep that to ourselves. But finally now, it just feels like the longer days are well and truly here. Bluer skies and that temperature. The heat is coming back, isn't it? It was very pleasant
Yes.
at our meetup yesterday. Oh, hope to see you there one day on a Wednesday. Of
Yes.
course, people have clashing commitments, and I know it doesn't always work out, but we're there all year long. So hopefully we'll be able to catch you there one day. We
I
have
hope
to,
so. I actually have class. I'm in Portuguese class Tuesday morning and
yeah,
Wednesday morning. So that makes it hard, but I definitely want to get out if I can.
yes,
Come see
yeah.
you guys.
It'd be lovely to see you here. And we had loads of people yesterday. We had people sat out on the deck at Palmeira Cafe and people under the canopy, where
Nice.
we've got used to huddling during the cold and damp times that we just spoke about, Heather. But yeah, we ventured out onto the deck, and people, Bob and Viv were there from up north with their friend Jennifer. It
Oh,
was,
Bob and Viv. They're
yeah,
awesome. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
and it was just wonderful to see so many people. We have a very diverse meeting at I don't know if you ever host any expat gatherings and what your preference.
I have wanted to, and I've had ideas to, and
Yeah,
uh, you know, then the parents and my mom got sick and all of that, and so it just hasn't happened yet. But I really, really want to because I'm in Caldas na Rainha, and Caldas is, just such a great area. We get so many visitors. In fact, I'm meeting some folks later today that are in town visiting and want to go to Obidos and walk around. And so anybody in Obidos, you might see me out there later today hiking up the hills and whatnot. So yeah, absolutely. The diversity is wonderful, and I love meeting the new people and just uh, really enjoy that energy that everybody brings. Not everybody, I guess, but lots of people are bringing to Portugal the right attitude. I feel like right, uh,
yes,
just positive and contributing and integrating and uh, as hard as that is here with the language being more than challenging, I love it, but it's yeah, it's a whole new level. So thankfully we have a lot, enough expats, enough diversity here. I have very good Portuguese friends. The closest people uh, in this country that I have besides my family are actually Portuguese natives. So locals, I should say, prefer locals. But it really is amazing the diversity that you see coming from everywhere around the globe.
yeah.
I really find that fascinating.
Yeah, yeah. Well, that's certainly Portugal's future, isn't it? And I think you're responding somewhat there to my correspondence that I shared with you, that I took very
Mm.
seriously. But we'll come back to that in just a
Sure.
moment, and we'll include Maria in that conversation as well, because it's lovely to get
Great.
her Portuguese input on that. I want to, if I may, talk to you because you and I chatting away happily, catching up here. And I'm not sure if everybody knows about the scale of what you do at Boots on the Ground. So I'd love to be able to share that with people, especially for those who will see this later and may need your services. A lot of the people are gathered here together. I'm starting to sound like a vicar now, don't I? Those of you gathered here together this morning to celebrate life here on the Good Morning Portugal show. We will begin with the words of Psalm. No, we won't. We will look at Heather. We'll look at Heather Binder's website now and sing all things bright and beautiful. It is a bright and beautiful website. Please tell us about a few of the things you do that will be of interest, I think, to people who watch this on catch up who may still be stateside. So, what is it you do for people?
Sure. I do a lot of different things, but the primary thing that we work on is visa services and helping people, consultation, helping people just make sense of this journey and help break it down into biteable pieces and assist them in a lot of that administrative work of actually preparing their documents, helping them with staff appointments, driver's license exchange, just all sorts of things. I moved my parrot, who's actually still in bed, so you could actually hear me in the other room. She's in bed, but maybe we'll do a show with her sometime.
Oh, yes,
that'll
definitely.
be fun.
Yeah.
So I've done a lot of things. I moved my elderly parents. I moved my pets. The bird is an endangered species now, African gray. And so I bought a house, I remodeled the house, I got a mortgage. So I've done a lot of things that I can draw on.
You certainly have.
Well, you have the problems yourself. And, my dad has some issues, and we wanted to get like a handicap plaque for the car to make it easier to get around with him and get him in and out of services. And just that alone was like, just hoop after hoop. And, camera and finances and all these things. So a lot of people just need a lot of assistance. And I've made really great connections with locals that I work with and partner with, as well as others. And I'm that vehicle to help get people a lot of that help and information and coordinating things, either from my own ability and perspective and experience, or that of local assistance or other partners that I have throughout Portugal. So I help people Portugal-wide get to Portugal, stay in Portugal, and hopefully cut out some of the bureaucratic headache that is, for me at least, worthwhile to get some help with.
Yeah, well said. And from what I know of you, and what's great about you, and I think what people love about your service, is you're a detail person and you get the job done. I, on the other hand, am a little bit more of a butterfly. What's a pleasant way of describing it? A top level person.
You're a
connector.
Portugal. I can't even say it. How do you say it? Portugal. Google.
I
love it.
Don't let me down here. It's just Portugal. You see, it's
Portugal. Just plain out Portugal. Okay, yeah, I guess you can't really spell Google. So okay, fair enough.
This is so much better in my mind than it is in anyone else's, I think.
No, I think it's really cool. I saw it and I was like, I don't know what that is, but I love it. It's really cool. It's great. I like the little, the little rooster there. Little chicken.
Well, this is what I do.
You connect people. You're a connector, and similar to me, but in very different ways. And that's why we work. We collaborate well together, I think. And you just have such a good energy. I know when I first met you, I messaged you and said, "Hey, can I take you to lunch?" And you were all about it because a free meal.
Oh yeah. Yes.
And we had a lovely time. And at the time, we didn't really know how we would collaborate together necessarily, but that's come together here now, and
absolutely,
it's great.
That didn't. I didn't quite see it like that, but yeah, now you mentioned it, that's exactly the trajectory, isn't it, of our process and progress and adventure here. So
Yeah.
the point I'm trying to make here, not absolutely very well, is that I'm top level. You know, I love being here in the mornings, love chatting and connecting people. And I'm doing my best to be this Portugal service. And look, you cannot, it's almost like Google. In fact, Google designed the technology for me to do this. But now my homepage, this is my homepage.
Right.
And that is where you can ask your questions. And so it is, that's why it's Portugal, everybody. And I will be
That's
eating
great.
these questions up minute by minute, hour after hour, day after day. And this is my life, and this is what I love doing. And then the professionals move in, and people like Heather, and take care of the details. And that's why it's so important that people come and chat on the show, so you can make sure you're working with the person who is right for you. And I'm sure you would agree with that, Heather. You know, interest in Portugal is expanding. More and more people are coming to the fore to offer services. Now,
Very
on
much.
the one hand, you can think to yourself, this is very bad. This is all competition. But actually, this is very good, I think, because people get to work with the people who are right for them, and a diversity and complexity of services, although maybe difficult to navigate, means it's actually a much better ecosystem for you to get the job done and work with the best people. Would you see it in the same way?
Yeah, I think looking at competition is a view coming from scarcity,
Yeah.
not from abundance. And the reality is the business out there is abundant, the people needing help is abundant, the everything is abundant. And if we have an abundant mindset, then the energy is good, and it's just all good. And I do try to offer something different in the level of detail that we go to, because I did get help when I did my first visa, my own visa, and then I started doing my parents and my fiance and my friends, and grew it into a business from there. But that help was, although great, absolutely, it also is limited. Now, it was limited also in what I paid. So it's, of course, everything is commensurate. But there were so many other details that I really needed and wanted. And had I known that, and they would have been something that I might have contracted and learned from, in the sense of having less frustration in my own life,
Yes.
but thankfully I connected with locals quickly and was able to get that assistance and make some headway with a lot of the other things beyond the visa itself,
Yeah.
the what to do next and when you land and all this craziness. So I think all of the competition, if you will, is good, because, as an example, like, I do free half-hour chats, which usually turn into 45 minutes or an hour, but that's fine. It's the half hour, because if I can be a good fit and helpful for you, then let's talk and figure that out, and the best way to, work together, or what services we can provide that makes sense for your situation. And I think that's the big thing. I really have kind of a thing when people give this advice that's just completely generic, like,
Yeah.
don't buy a house before you move. Well, I moved elderly parents, I moved multiple pets. It was not realistic for me not to buy a house. I needed a level of comfort from
Yeah.
my parents that are very comfortable, liked being very, very comfortable, liked. My dad's still around. My mom passed last November, and here in Portugal. And so, just hearing these flat out, don't do this, don't pay asking price, do this, it's really wrong, in my opinion. I honestly have like ethical issues against it. I guess my background, I'm a real estate broker in Arizona for close to 3 decades. And, so I just never, ever feel like I can give someone advice or good quality information unless I actually talk to you and understand your position and your situation.
Well said. Well said. Absolutely right. Yeah. And here are those values, that and the others that you base your business on. Love this. This is a very thoughtfully put together website,
Thanks.
Heather.
Thanks.
Really good. And that's how people can get in touch with you. Boots on the ground, PT, the all important PT.com.
Yes. Remember the PT, or you'll end up on who knows what.
A boot camp maybe somewhere.
Yeah, it's something. I don't even know. I think it's a charity.
Okay, all right, yeah, but you made probably a different country. So what's popular at the moment from your menu? What seems to be the flavor of spring 2023 when it comes to people picking your services?
I would definitely say there's been a lot of complications and further adjustments to things like NIFs in the recent few weeks, even on requirements and how we're sort of working with that. So, we help people with bank accounts and NIFs, and those are always going to be in high demand, but we focus on our clients that do visa packages with us as well. And so, but we start there because that's the beginning, right? Mm-hmm. And then I also am getting a lot of people in country that need help. The driver's license is one, because although the thought on the street, and I'll throw this out there because it's one of those things that bugs me, is that, when they stopped actually taking your driver's license physically, when you went to the authority here, people got this idea that you didn't have to do anything to actually exchange your license. Like, you didn't need to exchange. Yeah. You could just drive on your whatever country you're from license and go from there. And that's not correct. And although you can for a period of time, and maybe you can legally get away with it, you're going to be in a world of hurt when you have to take a practical written exam. And I believe you can request it in English if you request it ahead of time. But that doesn't mean it's going to be easy. I don't know about you, but I don't even want to take an Arizona driving practical test right now. I'm still going to be studying for that, let alone a Portuguese one. We should all have to study it some, though. I think we all should have to know the basics. I think that's a really important piece that you don't necessarily just come here understanding.
I get it. The world of driving.
Yes.
And the world of hurt, as you put it. That's so amusing.
Well, my fiance and I, we argue about the roundabouts, and so it just he insists on going to the roundabouts with other cars, and we, in Caldish, I'm not talking Lisbon when it's 6 lanes. I'm talking 2 lanes and not busy. Like, there's no reason you need to enter a roundabout with another car almost ever, really. At least, like, directly next to a car, right? That could cut you off, or you cut them off, or whatever. And he just will do that, and it just drives me bananas.
literally by the sound of it. So yeah, I get your point. It's one thing to learn how to converse a basic level in Portuguese, which you absolutely should do, and that connects to our next talking point. But yeah, learning to drive in Portuguese or sitting an examination would be a whole other world of hurt, as Heather puts it. So that's a bit of a thing. I think there's still a misunderstanding around the driving license thing, isn't there? There is,
and I hate to, sorry to cut you off. I just hate to see people get screwed on that, for lack of a better word, if they don't. If they don't have the documents you need. You need a document that you get in the United States, as an example, which is where I'm from. So I'll speak to that. You need a document, and it's so much easier to get it when you're in the United States rather than being in Portugal and trying to get a document that you need a money order for, that you need to send to the consulate, that you need to receive back. I'm sure there's a way to do it here, but I don't want to add that complication. Once we get people's visa packages either sent off, well, there's no more sending off. Once we get people into VFS Global for their visa appointments, I give them a little bit of breathing room, like a week. And then I go, okay, now you need to do this. Yeah.
You've had your rest. Let's crack on. Well, I'm sure that's really reassuring as well to know that you're going to be coming back to them and saying, "Okay, you've had your little bit of respite from the VFS process. Let's now turn our attention to another thing, and you'll thank me for this later because it will save a lot of complication." There you go. That's the insight that Heather's bringing to this process for people. Boots on the ground, pt.com. Fantastic. And yeah, find out more about that there, and just approach Heather directly if you have anything to ask her or if you need her help. Now, this other matter that came up that I think you will have some useful wisdom and insight to suggest. All my banners are in the way of it, sadly, at the moment, so I'm hastily removing them.
There we go.
Yeah, I help people with our Portugal club on a Tuesday night, and I posted up proudly. It's awful when this happens. It's a bit like my Portugal thing. I'm thinking it's so great, and then somebody will come back that clearly shows that I should have thought about it a bit more. And here's another one of those examples of happily, proudly posting something. Pride comes before a fall. I'm a little crestfallen by the response to this. I've actually moved on because I think it's important to address it. Joao Ferreira responding to my plea or invitation to work with Americans says, "My friend, it's very sad to be helping foster rich immigration when all we know that this rich immigration has been contributing to the agony of Portugal. Sorry, but just have to say it. Stop negotiating with the well-being of the Portuguese." Now, if anyone says to me, "You're negotiating or playing with the well-being of the Portuguese," I take that very seriously.
Absolutely.
So that's why we're talking about it this morning. And I think it's fair to say the translation may have made it sound somewhat dark and even poetic. But we get the gist, don't we? We get the gist that our friend there, Senor Ferreira, is a little bit difficult. Finds it a little bit difficult. Is not entirely happy with my behaviour in encouraging rich people to come to Portugal. So let's talk about it. What do you make of this, Heather?
I think there's a lot of misinformation. I think there's a lot of misguided angst out there.
Yeah.
And I look at it differently. And one of the reasons I do is my background being in real estate. I did residential, but I also, towards the end of my, not end of my career, but end of living in Arizona, I worked with investors and I did multifamily and other sorts of commercial real estate. And first of all, they're real people, these investors, these people with money. Many of them are really good people. They want to do the right things. They want to help people. Of course, they want to make money, but at the end of the day, if you're living in an apartment right now, who is your landlord? They're this investor. They're one of these people that are creating a space for you to live and rent in. And so I don't understand personally why it's always just looked at as like bad if people either have money or want to bring in money to refurbish something. If you're buying a property that's 20 plus years old that needs work and you're putting 100,000 plus into it, why is that bad? When, as an example, my house was on the market over 2 years. I'm in the country. I'm in 12 minutes east of Caldas, and which is considered like middle of nowhere to a lot of Portuguese and people. 20 minutes from the coast, so I'm not right at the beach or anything like that. And nobody wanted this property. Nobody wanted to put in the money to upkeep it, maintain it, and it was getting really deferred maintenance. It still looked nice, but it's starting to show the wear of not being lived in. It was vacant. And so, absolutely there's concern for availability of housing and affordable housing and the different larger cities where that's been driven up. I get that. But I think overall you have to see the bigger picture. I'm a bigger picture person in a lot of ways. You said detail, and I do focus on deep detail, but I also really pull back and look at that bigger picture. And the bigger picture is that immigrants fuel the economy, bring billions of dollars, help bring jobs, bring work. I employ people on a regular basis. I now partner with all sorts of vendors in Portugal that are, paying their taxes and the Social Security and the whole thing. And we're all doing our part to bring something better to Portugal and richer. And yes, it's different. It's different, and the culture is going to change. But without Portugal, according to this ec.europa.eu website, between the consensus or census from 2011 to 2021, the native population decreased in Portugal by 2.1%.
Yeah.
And it says if it had not been for the country's foreign population, this decrease would have been even more severe. So to me, the bigger issues are actually the government, the culture, what's still trickling down from the previous political issues and current political issues. And we aren't hurting Portugal in general or overall if we're contributing and bringing in stimulation, bringing in funds, bringing in other people, growing the population, bringing in children. Because, our Portuguese friends, so many of them, they've given up. They've given up on aspiring to do better and really, build a business or do something great, because the structure of Portugal and their situation with taxes and so forth. And so if those people have given up and that's all you have here, is people just doing the rote thing over and over again, we're going to lose the creativity. We're going to lose the growth. We're going to lose the innovation. We're going to lose, the markets and the restaurants brought in by, Brazilians and Chinese. And, there's a couple of the largest groups, here that have immigrated, and Americans, we're like next to nothing at this point.
It's true, isn't it? And we should make that point, because there was another, I think it was New York Times article over the weekend. These articles come out on a regular basis now, don't they?
Yes.
And it triggers people in all sorts of ways. It's like, oh my God, how many more million Americans are now coming because of this news article? And actually, it's still under 10,000 Americans, I think, isn't it? In Portugal,
it's a very small number.
Tiny. You could say vocal minority. And I think that's because American people are quite introspective, analytical, and occasionally, how would we say?
Have big mouths.
Yeah.
I have to say, I say that because they know me at my camera. Like, they look out, like they know, And so I just go there, and I swear, I just like zip my lip and just smile and like, bon dia, and go there with my Portuguese gal and, let her do her thing. And I've learned that my A-type personality of get things done, be responsive, boom, 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 is just like the antithesis of actually getting something accomplished. So yeah, I think verbal, vocal, visual, when it comes to Americans, is maybe the issue there that creates a lot of misperception, if you will. I don't know if that's a word.
It's a cultural thing. I think American people are very expressive and articulate.
You said that's so much nicer than big mouth.
That's what I meant to say. That's what I meant to say. And I haven't got a leg to stand on as a Brit, have I? Go to the Algarve and there are aspects of being British that are really quite awkward when you go down to the Algarve. But on this matter of rich immigration, thank you for what you said. Carl agrees. Well said, Heather. Immigration is a net positive for sure. And it's like you were saying, I think, wasn't it, about how people approach immigration to Portugal? The stock or instant answer is never the answer, is it? And that's just a quick opinion. And this is a rich. This should be a rich discussion about rich immigration, and a nuanced and ongoing discussion. There are no quick answers to this. The reality is that 1 in 10, I think, people in Portugal will be an immigrant if it's not already that number.
Right.
And that the trend is heading towards greater numbers, not fewer. And It's a conversation we need to be having, and that's why I have it here. I like it. And yeah, of course, here's part of the nuance. What qualifies as rich? I'm sure there are some resentful Americans who think, I do not want to be seen as, you know, some wave of billionaire migration here. That is not me at all. I'm just getting by on my pension here, enjoying a better quality of life. And in some ways, they are economic migrants in their own way, aren't they? So it is a very broad and rich picture. We'll continue to have this conversation. I love what you said so far on it, Heather. And Senor Ferreira, you are invited to come and talk to us as well on the show. So let's keep having this conversation, because it's a really important one, I think, for the long term, that people understand each other. And not only will it help, I think, ease some of the tensions that might develop and some of the prejudices and opinions that might develop that can go in what I would see as the wrong direction. But if people have this conversation and they talk, we could have some amazing positives as well, couldn't we, that come out of that conversation of richness and diversity. So let's look at rich from the point of view perhaps of rich in diversity and culture, rather than rich in terms of immigration and money winning again. Because I don't think it's developers are going to develop, right? It's not their fault that the government aren't doing their bit and making affordable housing. That's not really, and right. I'm sure if part of the golden visa or the development plans were to provide affordable housing,
exactly,
the well-being of the Portuguese, that if you had to do that, people would do it, wouldn't they? But I think there is, we found this with this recent housing policy stuff, is that a lot of it is huff and puff and political game playing rather than any serious solutions. I think you want to add something to that.
No, that's 100%. I mean, one of my biggest investors I worked with in Arizona did Section 8 housing, which is multifamily housing for low income, like people on welfare, like the whole nine, and he realized that there were incentives for him to do that. And so it not only has a huge need, he never doesn't have tenants, but he's found a way to make that profitable for himself. And that's great, because the waiting list for Section 8 is like insane. Yeah. And so, and that's in Arizona. Yeah. And, I think that the government needs to do things much smarter and not be relying on these clickbait headlines and things like that. And actually, the golden visa, there were bad aspects of that, certainly, potentially, for, the bigger cities and so forth. But if somebody is going to come to the country, or Caldish, even Caldish, as popular as it is in so many ways, has tons of vacant buildings. And you know exactly what I'm talking about. Right across from the park, there's a big open space that's just open to the sky. Used to be a building.
It's a beautiful building. Heather, I'm so sorry, I have to interrupt here, because we're keeping MJ waiting. We got carried away talking here. There are about 7,000 Americans live in Portugal, but it seems like 7 million are here on vacation. Let's give her a nice big round of applause. Here she is, Maria João Silva. Good morning to you.
Hi.
MJ.
Hi.
I'm sorry to keep you waiting.
Hi, good morning. How are you?
Good. Sorry, my fault. The American with the big mouth.
There it is.
Nice. All right. Because I was
having. You had a bit of a technical challenge, I think, as well, didn't you? Joining us this morning.
Yes. Gotcha. Yes, I did. Yes.
How are you? ¿Cómo estás?
I think estou bem. And you? How are you?
Muito bem, obrigado. I love this conversation, and I want it to be an ongoing conversation in our community, because it's an important one, and clearly people think so in the chat as well, and others in our community. So we will continue to have it, and it's an honor to have you here as a Portuguese person who may or may not have something to add to it. But I will come back to that, because I just want to find out how you are, basically. If you've published any books recently, what have you been up to as the Renaissance woman you are?
I'm in the process of publishing a few more books. It's not only one, it's a couple of books. I don't know if I mentioned it the other time, the Code of the Emotional Child. We talked about it, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yes. We always go there. Yeah.
Yeah, that one and 2 cookbooks. And I think I
Oh,
mentioned those. Yes.
Okay. And
nice.
have you been writing poetry
Thank
as
you.
well?
Oh yes. Oh yes. And I have that one. That is
Okay.
almost out.
Would you
Called
do us the
M as in poetry.
Oh, okay. And would you do us the honor of I've posted what I think is one of your poems in the chat, private chat. Is that one of yours?
Yes,
It is.
but this is a joke. This was a
Oh, okay.
joke.
Is it inappropriate to read? Because not only that, I'm setting you
I
because
don't know. No.
we completely missed out on sharing the other day, the first day of spring, World Poetry Day. As well. So World Poetry Day with the
Oh
Portuguese
yeah.
twist. This is a fantastic blog from our friend Katia Lima. So I'm setting you up here alongside the great Camões and Fernanda Pessoa here, who also wrote a beautiful spring poem. Would you care to share with us some of your work in this illustrious Portuguese poetic company?
Okay, sure. But do you want me to read this that you sent me?
Well, if that's okay with you, or if you have a preference, what I would love to hear is you
Oh,
reading your
yeah.
poem in
No.
Portuguese, because it's a great help to us.
Oh, okay. Because let me just explain here. This one is something that happened yesterday.
Oh, okay. All right.
So I just made a poem of the day with my house. So that's why I wrote this one.
Okay, I missed that a little bit.
I can read it. You want me to read this one?
I would love you to. We're struggling a little bit with the connection, but
we're having cuts.
Yeah, it's kind of coming in and out, but it might add a nice sort of psychedelic quality to the poetry as well. So
We won't understand what she's saying anyways.
She's going
Most of us.
She's going complete beat poet with the help of a bad connection. So let's try again and see if we can hear you saying your poem here. We're raising the bar, aren't we?
Oh man.
This is poetry like you've never heard it before. It's being remixed live by Mayo or Vodafone.
Oh, you're killing me.
Yeah, so MJ, it's not happening, unfortunately. Oh no. Nope.
I could read it really, really, really badly.
Me too.
Right? No.
You like going, oh no, these people.
A bit of a struggle here.
Yeah. Can you unjoin and join us again, and we'll try one more time to see if we can get a good connection with you. But because what a shame to have technology undermine the artistic here. We've got NP2I. Socialists love the capitalists. I guess it's one of those things, isn't it, where we need possibly a little bit more context, because when we get someone new to our community who just comes in with a quip like that, you're never far away from a bit of political trolling either. I'm very open to people's comments and freedom of speech and honest sharing and open sharing, but let's keep it legal and respectful and nice, basically. But let's see what else you've got to say. Cats are always to blame.
Cats are always to blame.
The cats run Mayo and Vodafone. I think the cat is to blame. And I think it was Matty who made a funny point earlier on, talking about endangered species of birds. If you've got a cat, all birds. Well, is this the bird is an endangered species if you always also have a cat? Do you have a cat?
I don't, but I did have cats for many years with parrots, and they did actually well together. I had more issues when it came to dogs with birds than cats, believe it or not. But my cats were indoor cats, and I had a macaw, mini macaw, and his name was Ralph, and he would run around and he would chase the dogs and the cats. and he bit my dog's butt once, Junebug, who's long since passed away. But he bit
Aw.
Junebug's butt, okay? And she lived to be like 15, and she was about 2 when we rescued her. And that was the greatest thing ever that Ralph did, because June never wanted to have anything to do with birds ever in her life. And she'd see a bird coming and she'd be like, boom, I'm out of here. The cats were the same.
Not a problem then. Not a problem, as it turns out.
It
Matthew.
can be. It depends on how they're raised. It depends on how you train them. So, but you should never trust them alone together, as a serious note. I never, ever do. And one of the first things any dog I have learns is leave it. And leave my bird alone. That's ultimately what the lessons is. Mama has some voice when it comes to that, but she listens. She's, they're good.
I bet. Brilliant. Okay. We MJ's back now. And let's see if we can have a live poetry recital. First of all in Portuguese.
Hi.
And then that's better. That's better. So take it away. But while we've got you on a good connection. Or not, as the case may be.
Okay. So ok. Nunca sabemos o que pode acontecer-nos na vida. Podemos apaixonar-nos ao virar de uma esquina. Ou pode o nosso gato catar a pen onde temos o nosso trabalho todo para jogar penball enquanto dormimos. E agora não conseguimos descobrir onde é que ela foi parar. É assim. Nunca se sabe o que pode acontecer.
Oh, nice. Did you enjoy that as much as me, Heather?
I felt like I was in class again. I did enjoy it, and I was following along because I have it written until like the second to last sentence, and then I did my usual, which is I'm thinking about what I'm hearing and reading, and missed like the next sentence. But it's always lovely to hear Portuguese, and it really does help. It really does help a lot.
Absolutely. I enjoyed that. May we have it one more time and then an explanation?
This one? Okay,
Please.
I will. Okay. Nunca sabemos o que pode acontecer-nos na vida. Podemos apaixonar-nos ao virar uma esquina. Ou pode o nosso gato catar a pena onde temos o nosso trabalho todo para jogar penball enquanto dormimos. E agora não conseguimos descobrir onde é que ela foi parar. É assim, nunca se sabe o que pode acontecer.
I don't know why, but I just found that deeply relaxing. Now, is the content deeply relaxing? Can you break it down for us?
No, it's not at all.
Right. No, I'll admit what happens to me there, and I don't know if it's slightly similar to you, Heather, is I get overwhelmed. So I'm loving the sound, and I'm picking out occasional words that I understand.
Exactly.
But there comes a point, doesn't there, where it's not a linear matter; it's an exponential matter of overwhelm. So I stopped trying to understand, and I did what Anna was recommending on Mondays: just let it wash over me. And I know that some benefit is taking place when I'm hearing the words and it is washing over me. And one magical day, I will be able to understand a poem of this kind, or a complex, assembly of Portuguese words and construction like this, and just be able to respond in kind, and it will all just have fallen into place as though I were a 2, 3, or 4-year-old. What was actually going on, MJ, in this poem?
So what happened was my cat yesterday just made my the pen drive disappear.
Oh no!
It just like with years of work, and I had it by my computer, and all of a sudden the pen drive was not there anymore. So there was a poem saying that your cat can grab your pen drive and play penball and make your work disappear.
Ouch.
Wow. And that the cat was obviously the culprit, right? When your pen drive disappeared, the cat had taken it, eaten it, hidden it. What?
Probably hit it. He probably, played with the pen like football. So I called it penball because it was a pen drive. So he probably just, was playing with it. And it's now, I don't know where it is.
Oh man.
Well, that was the next question. You don't know where the pen drive has ended up
No, nope,
today? Oh,
not
okay.
yet, not
Now,
yet.
I do have a suggestion, and I want anyone who is eating their breakfast to get to the end of their current mouthful before I ask my next question.
Oh my.
Are you checking the are you checking the litter tray for the pen drive?
Oh, the litter
Oh,
tray.
no,
I
I
don't think that
haven't.
would go through a cat. I don't think a cat would be that,
I
not
don't know.
smart to eat.
I don't think we
that.
can rule. I don't think we can rule anything out at this stage because it remains a mystery, right? And I'm
Well,
liking the look on your face,
my
MJ,
cat.
at the idea.
Yeah, and
Sorry,
MJ, I
yeah,
have
I'm gonna
advice
check
for.
it out. And
Sorry, I was gonna say I have advice for MJ,
okay.
which is Dropbox. Dropbox, the cloud. You got to use something like
Mhm.
that.
Too late.
yeah,
The horse hasn't bolted, but
yeah.
the horse
Now
has
it's
bolted.
yeah.
Yeah, like this poem on. You need to Dropbox it, Google Drive it, something. There's
You're right. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Yeah. Catbox,
For
Dropbox.
sure.
a little too late, right?
Yeah. So the question
Yeah.
would
But I-
remain then:
But I'm gonna
if you
check.
do,
Sorry.
sorry, go. No, you carry on. You carry on. We want to hear you.
No, I was just gonna. I was just going to say that it's a possibility to be in the litter box because my cat is not like other cats because he eats with his
Oh.
paw. He takes
Yeah.
out his food with his paw and
Oh,
he
he's-
eats. So
Scooper.
maybe he's got his own ideas. I think.
Yeah, I mean the thing is, I guess it's not like a mobile or other device. You can't make it vibrate. You can't make the little LED
I
light.
know.
So I guess I would check there, and then the next thing to Google is how to clean up a pen drive after such an event, such that you might use it again. We're not talking about a bag of rice on this occasion, or maybe we are. I don't know. Litter tray
That's great advice.
is a very secure storage device. No one's going in that cloud. That's for sure. Well said, Pete. Oh, and incidentally, before we ask you, Maria Joao Silva, about how best for us, how us rich immigrants should behave here, have you guys heard the Eurovision entry for Portugal? Far too Spanish looking, apart from the rather revealing dresses. Pete kind of likes it, doesn't like it. I'm not quite sure there. He has for some redeeming features by the sound of it. Have you heard it, Heather?
No, I'm like wanting to jump on Google right now. In fact,
I'd play
or
it,
to
but
Google.
I think I would get in trouble if I played it. MJ, are you a Eurovision fan? Have you heard Portugal's entry?
Not this year. Not this year. Yes, I'm a great fan because I love music, and I have a friend who has already participated in the Eurovision. Not this year, unfortunately. She has a beautiful voice. If you ever want to play something from her in your show, she's amazing.
Would love that. Absolutely love that. Yeah, please. That would be a wonder. And you as well. I mean, you're a performer, aren't you? Singer-songwriter.
Yes, I don't perform like live, although it's like a dream that I'm trying to make happen this year
Okay.
to perform live.
Well,
So
you know,
let's see what happens.
you have an open stage here if ever you want to try some material on the morning
Oh
show.
my God.
And if that would be a milestone for you that we could help with, you're more than welcome. This has
thank
captured
you.
the imagination. Just a few kitty bitty edits, and he'll return it. Yeah, I am the cat, as my dogs want the. Oh, I am the chat. I am the cat. Okay, he's got to go out for a walk there. So on this matter, returning to this serious matter that we've been discussing this morning, and I did give you a little preview of it just to get your thoughts on it, MJ. My friend, it's very sad to be helping foster rich immigration when we all know that this immigration has been contributing to the agony of Portugal, and the well-being of the Portuguese is called into question by this. We'll stay with that phrase for the time being, the rich immigration. How does this occur to you as a Portuguese person? I'm not asking you to speak for all Portuguese, but you certainly can give us an angle that we don't have.
Well, when you sent me the sentence yesterday, I was reading it, and it didn't make any resonance with me I don't know if I can explain very well, because why is it hurting Portugal? I didn't understand his point of view. What does he mean by
Mhm.
it's so? Because to me, I think it's a good thing that people, as we discussed before, I think it's enriching to have other people coming to our country, because it helps us respect and honor and accept not only our, and stop being so closed as we have been for years.
Right.
So I think it's a great idea that uh, Americans are coming to Portugal, English people are coming to Portugal, because I don't understand basically, because Portuguese people are all over the world, and we've always
Yeah.
been welcome in America, in England, in Australia, in Africa, everywhere that we are welcome there. So it's our time, in my view, to welcome, to do the same for the people that have nested us, for us to nest you and everyone that wants to come here in Portugal. So what do you think he really means by this statement?
I think my first guess or response is that extreme wealth, as Senor Ferreira might perceive it, it can be quite a brutal tool, can't it? I mean, pricing people out of the neighborhood. I think that's what he's referring to. I think he's talking about gentrification, globalization, and we see that with that as a global phenomenon. There's the cat in question. No question, that is a problem. It's never good to see people unable to afford housing in the neighborhoods or even towns where they grew up. That is unfortunate and an awkward part of how we organize ourselves politically and economically. And I don't think it's only the people coming in who are to blame for that.
Of course,
It's part of a problem, but to point anyone out to take the blame individually is an error, because it's a systemic problem and not without an individual culprit, I would say.
Well,
And I think
evidently.
that's what he's talking about.
And Carl,
Yes.
that's exactly it. So in Arizona, in Phoenix, it's the Californians are coming. The Californians are coming, and they're driving up all our prices, and we can't afford housing in Phoenix. That's literally, the talk. And so it's the same thing. It's literally everywhere. And it's also not true. That's also been proven as not the case. Or it's the iBuyers, the big companies buying that rose up the price in Phoenix. And also, we just, so much of this is marketing crap, for lack of a better word, and not actual real information and what really is going on. And again, it's distraction. It's whoever the government's throwing distraction at us, so we'll bicker back and forth versus actually talk about real solutions that could help more people afford housing, not get priced out, stop this thing that's going on. But it is absolutely going on globally, from everybody I talk to, in my experience in real estate myself.
Well said.
From what I can observe, it's not the coming of foreign Americans, English, Portugal, that is raising, for example, the prices. It's really when it started was priced up, so it's not. You have certain areas where wealthy people just are attracted to. For example, here in Cascais, you have Quinta da Marinha and some other places there that are that have been priced up were already up. They just, rose a little bit. And some of the houses are around those areas are, the prices are a little bit higher. But it's not because of the coming of the immigrants, not at all. It's just, it happened.
Yeah.
It's the economy that is always, it's circular. So, or, it has peaks and then downs. And so it's just natural. So blaming foreign people for that it's not even fair.
Yeah, and it is a shame, isn't it, that
in my view,
people want someone to blame, I suppose, don't they? We have challenges in our lives, and one quick way of responding to that is to blame somebody else. I'm not saying that is what Senor Ferreira is doing, but it's quite an easy habit for human beings to get into. While we're doing that, we're not working on the solution, are we? And that's the thing here.
Exactly.
I think there are solutions, and what would be great, I think, for our migrant community is to be part of the solution. To work in conjunction with the government and the Portuguese people to make sure it's a win-win situation ultimately.
Exactly.
So we're waiting for the call. We're ready. We're ready to have the conversation and be part of that incredible solution. And wouldn't it be wonderful if that were another of Portugal's great gifts to the world? It's like, we're figuring out how to do this. You didn't manage to do it in Prague or Amsterdam or Barcelona, but actually, we're doing something a bit different here. Come and take a look. So we wait for that call from the government. I think we do.
Oh, that'd be amazing.
We represent a very willing community, I think, of people who have a sense of responsibility, not just to come and take what they want from the country. I don't meet people like that, and that's a caricature I know exists, and I'm uncomfortable with, and that's why I talk about it so much, I think. Okay, let's finish with 2 or 3 dad jokes here. And I wanted to ask you, MJ. You said Portugal has been closed. Maybe next time. Do you get that sensation, Heather, that Portugal's been closed for a long time?
Well, yeah, I do. I think.
Go on.
I think the Portuguese, many of the Portuguese locals that I know there's just like a restraint. There's like such a, and part of it's the cultural personality or whatnot of Portuguese. It's just this holding back. And I do see that. I definitely feel like I see that. And I see, we know a business owner here in town, and my fiance is really good friends with him, spends a lot of time with the guy. And he's literally said, like, if I bring in a product and I have to pay VAT, and then I sell it and I have to pay, and there's VAT, and the economics are just not there for it to be opened up and for there to be the same abilities to get ahead and so forth. And so I think that whole concept has just made it an oppressive, feeling like people are stuck. And I don't think as immigrants we see that or feel that necessarily all the time, but I think getting a little bit closer with some people, I have seen that, and I do feel that. And we talk about it a lot in our conversations with the local people that we're friends with, because it is very much a concern for me as well. And I need to be feeling like I'm contributing and I'm helping bring good people here that do have something to contribute, not just monetarily, but really contribute to Portugal. And that's part of that matching up of people to service providers, like you said,
Okay, well, I take your point. Absolutely. And again, that's something that can happen in the rich connection, I think, can't it? And the celebration of new ideas coming into the country through the migrants, and a fine balance to be struck for the future. Thank you for that, Heather. Thank you, MJ. Always a great conversation.
Thank you.
Here on the Good Morning Portugal show. Just a last warning from Pete here about if you are serious about being here and taking your responsibility as a new Portuguese citizen and immigrant seriously, you should be aware of the Eurovision entry from Portugal.
I'm going to get on that today.
Yes. Do not show your face here if you have not listened to it.
Okay.
You're right.
As soon as we're done, I'm right on there.
That'll be Mimi Cat there. I'm not that keen, but they have grown on me in the past, like a fungus, I suppose. That will be the Portuguese entry. Mimi Cat this year. Let us know what you think. Well, I'm sure we'll talk about more of that as we head towards the finale. I don't know when is that, Pete? You seem to be the big fan of the Eurovision. So let us know when the climax of that is. Let's share a visual dad joke first. Thank you very much for this. He's probably gone now on his journey, but that's sensors have detected a meteor 5,280 feet in length. That's rather large, isn't it? Yes, it appears to be some sort of milestone. Ow. Okay, and those other dad jokes. Thank you very much, Tina. If you're
5,280 square feet or feet in a mile, right? I don't know if everybody knows that. So
okay, you can have that. For that information, thank you. If you're ever lost in the woods, start talking loudly about politics. Someone will show up promptly to argue with you. So true.
That's a great one.
It's true, isn't it? If you must, and true in Portugal as it is anywhere, if you must pillow fight to death, beware of repercussions.
Repercussions.
Okay, and I've decided to catch an earlier bus. Oh no, that's not a dad joke. That's a guy who hold on. I'm not leaving you with just 2 of the 3 dad jokes that were gifted to us this morning. I think I saved the wrong comments, but let me just reiterate my thanks to you both. MJ, have a great day today. Heather, have a great day.
Thank you. You too.
Pt.com. That's where you can find Heather's work there. We're nearly there with the dad jokes. Okay, here we go.
Oh, God.
Bye, MJ.
Do you know what I think?
Bye. Nice to see you.
He's only given me 2 dad jokes this morning, so we'll have to make do with that one visual one, and see if we can make a dad joke of this thing I starred up earlier on. I've decided to catch an earlier bus, so I'll say "Até logo, agora." That's not funny at all, is it? But it still gets one of these, and it's the end of the show. So thank you very much, everybody. Thanks, MJ. Thanks to you,
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, and bye for now. Ciao, ciao. Have a great day.
Thanks, Carl.
Beijinhos.
Bye. Beijinhos.
In Portugal, there's a YouTube show full of fun facts you need to know. Carl rings the bell and the members show to the GMP morning show. Featured guests will come and they will blow your mind. The audience will do so in kind. The little vanity mixed with some insanity on the morning show with GMP.
Good morning, Portugal, and I'd like to welcome you to another fantastic day.
Hey, Gumpers.